Hi, bear with me. I'm dealing with somewhat of a cold. Already tested for COVID, not COVID. That or it's really bad allergies. Anyhow, on to today's narcissistic adventure. I've had a lot going on in my life. I've had to put a lot of things in perspective. I've been in therapy for, oh my God, most of my life, but very intensively over the last 10 years. I got out of a very bad, abusive marriage. The man was a con man, a misogynistic abuser. Let's leave it at that. He also was a sexual predator. I did not know this. And when I found out, he was gone. When I knew for sure, when it was confirmed, when it was absolutely positively said, yes, this is not a mistake. I don't like accusing someone if I know it's not going to stand up in court. I felt this would. Sadly, it did not. Apparently, a 5.5-year-old child is able to consent to having sex with their own parent. But I digress. I had a long battle trying to help this child. Now, mind you, I had been groomed from very young. My mother was mildly narcissistic. I'm not going to say overtly. I'm not going to say covertly. There was no DSM-5. My biological sperm donor was abhorrent. He was terrible. Absolutely terrible. We had been traumatized by the abuse he inflicted on our mother, and she was wonderful up until that point. And when he left, she became lost. I can identify. I lost who I was. And I went down this road of not only was I abused by my biological sperm donor, I was abused by a lot of the circle of my mom's friends, male. Mom did not know. She knew about the sperm donor in the end. She did not know about the rest. I bent over backwards to make life easier for my mother. I would rush home from school. I would mop floors. I would start dinner. I would get her coffee on so that when she walked in from work, that coffee was hot and ready for her to drink. I did my chores. I did everything I could possibly do and heard nothing. And this was on a daily basis. So the floors were mopped daily. Okay? Coffee daily. Dinner daily. I was young. I was 2 years older than my sister and then 4 years older than my brother. My sister is now long since passed. She became a drug addict, as did my brother. My brother is in prison for being his father's son. And somehow I subjected my children to marrying my dad repeatedly. Cut to recently, and my daughter needed a break and moved in with her elder sister. Now, I had been estranged from my eldest for more than 10 years. Before that, it was on and off. As she needed me, she'd pull me back in. When she was done with me, she'd spit me back out and make horrific allegations against me. And it became a cycle. And one day, I realized it was affecting my younger children. I had 2 younger children. And they were being hurt by this. So I thought, if I'm being hurt by this, so are my grandchildren. My 2 older girls are adults. One was taken in by the church. told I was a practicing witch. I imparted evil on my grandchildren, yada, 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 and I reluctantly had to walk away because it was going to hurt my grandchildren if I stayed. Better me crying and hurting than they're thinking their grandmother didn't love them. And I told her to just tell them I was dead. Don't know what she's told them. Don't care what she's told them. I have no grandchildren. It has to be that way. If they ever look me up, then I will proceed as being somebody who was in their life, but not as a grandparent. The eldest daughter has taken in my youngest daughter now. I have not spoken to her in months. I've been denied speaking to her. I am not going to try to convince her to come home. She left under circumstances that she committed a crime and that this was the second time that money was stolen from me, and it was a large sum of money. And I wanted her to be accountable. Every parent is to teach their children to be accountable. And she will not take accountability any more than my eldest did. You hope that your children see what you're gone through, that they, while not knowing all of the sacrifices that you have made, that they see some of those sacrifices. And I thought my kids did, but I was wrong. Okay. It's been hard. It's been an old wound open up again. But my eldest did reach out prior to COVID, and wanted to meet, and I met against my best judgment. And sadly, it didn't go well. Every time I tried to speak in my own defense, or anybody can tell you a narcissist is going to accuse you of stuff. If you try to defend yourself, you just get beaten down more. And I did. A new allegation popped up. First allegation was I was abusive. The second allegation was, well, I denied her a relationship with her grandmother. The next allegation was, well, you beat me with a belt. Look, I'm not going to defend against something I haven't done. I'm not going to apologize for stuff I didn't do. Anything I felt she had valid in the past, I did apologize for. We make mistakes. We're human. One of the allegations was, you never let me make my own choices. The problem is when I did let her make those own choices, they wound up with cops being called because she had disappeared overnight from a school function, came home high or drunk, had done things that put her life in danger. I'm not going to apologize for being a parent. And certainly not in the case of the daughter that left, because I did take her telephone from her. My God, I took her phone. And I thought I'd be able to appeal to an adult who is a parent themselves to please not allow a phone. First thing they did was get her a phone. Now I have been told to box up all of my youngest daughter's stuff, which I have. And I was told, nope, don't need it, throw it out. But I'm not hearing any of this from my youngest daughter, whose belongings they are, who may want some of these items. So I'm between a rock and a hard place here. But I'm doing the best I can. I can only dance so much. Does this hurt to the core? Absolutely. I don't like losing my kids, even the ones I don't agree with. I may not like them, but I love them. They are my children, and I want the best for them, and should not include my grandchildren. Yet, I seem to be the only one that is okay with their reaching out. My children, my youngest children, reaching out and having a relationship with their siblings. But I was denied a relationship with my grandchildren. They were denied a relationship with me, and they weren't given the choice. These are two of the claims that my eldest made against me. Now, mind you, my mom and I did not get along. However, she had every other weekend with my children. It's a shame, and I'm sorry that this all happened. But this is narcissism at its finest, and this is the tragedies it's left behind. Be well. If you're going through this, comment below, and we can have a conversation, or you can vent. It's damaging to an entire family when this happens. Take care.